So welcome everyone. This is Deniese with Deniese IncTru. I am your host for today. So we have on with us, we have Quentin Moore. He is the man of the hour that is here with us. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. The pleasure is mine. I'm glad we can make it work.
Are you ready? You ready for this performance for this weekend?
I'm ready to rock and roll. I'm always ready to do what I do. So, I'm definitely looking forward to it. Valentine's Day is always a good time, to play music for me and to be able to share, some love through music.
Yes. Okay. So I'm definitely ready to. I'm thinking about. I'm wanting to join that live that you'll be doing out there for your performance. So we may pop in. We'll get to see you, and I'll definitely have a crew there so we can record if being. So with the performance that's coming up, can you tell us a little bit more about it?
Jay's International. It's one of my favorite restaurants. They're still kind of building in the DFW area. They have 2 locations, about to have 3. And I just want people to know about my favorite place and then be able to share my talents and, with some good food, man. I'm telling you, some of the best food, one of my favorite places to eat at in DFW. And so normally we do the evening, but this year we're doing brunch. There's a lot going on that weekend. So I just want to offer people an alternative if they wanted to do more than one thing. If they want to do something in the evening, they can still have the evening fully open, but I'm going to be your afternoon appetizer.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, we're definitely looking forward to that. Like I mentioned, so this will be from the flyers that will be hosted. Now, let's see here. What I did want to ask a few questions about, like the stage, and will it just be you that would mostly be the main liner for that night?
Yes, it's gonna be me. I'm gonna do a couple little short sets, and we're gonna roll out like that. Yeah, it's gonna be kind of acoustic style, tiny desk, acoustic. Yeah. Me and the keys and the guitar, and we're just gonna roll like that. I may bring a special guest musician with me. I may not. We'll see. But primarily it's gonna be me rocking, and it still be like an acoustic vibe. So intimate, laid back living room style.
Yeah. Okay. And I definitely love that. I always tell my viewers, let them know that. Well, a bit of my background is that I love visual performing arts, live music, things like that, and anything that's associated with kind of like healing through the arts, art therapy, music therapy. So that's definitely a vibe. We're all ready to see that with the live music, the acoustics and everything that comes with that performance for the weekend. So I did want to also ask, do you still feel butterflies when you're performing? Do you still have that kind of first time vibe thing that goes on when you have your performances?
Absolutely, but in a different way, more so in an excited way, in an exciting way, meaning that this is a new crowd that I get to perform with. Every show is a new experience. I know that I have songs that I plan to do, but you can never plan what the vibe is going to be. You just got to go with the vibe and the energy. And, I get excited. I'm so it's like, what's going to be the vibe tonight, and it's always different. You never know what you're going to have. It's like, like a box of chocolate, you don't know until you bite into it, what's in the middle, Yeah. And so that's kind of, that's my butterflies from this day and age, not so much stage fright, but more so I'm excited to see what this experience is going to bring, because no matter what you have planned, you cannot ever predict or plan a vibe or energy. It's natural. You just gotta build it,
Right. So it just comes with the flow of how the night goes, how the audience, kind of intertwines with what's going on with the overall atmosphere. So it all happens on its own. So you get more of a, not necessarily the nervousness, but just being excited about everything and adjusting to what the crowd brings to you as well.
Exactly.
Okay. All right, so I like that. So I did also want to just get on more of information about like how I saw like some through some of your pictures that you are a busy man. Oh my God, you're everywhere. I was looking, okay, one minute I see welcome to Miami, then you in Brazil, and then you got this going. I'm like, my gosh, you are busy. So I was like exciting to see it. I'm like, you're able to get all the majestic things of the world, being able to travel, play your music, and share your gift with the world. So how does that feel to be able to do that? And could you name a few places that you've been?
Yeah, it's definitely a blessing. I've been full time now for 16 years, and it's definitely a blessing to be able to move around the world. I've been, I've sold out shows in India. I've been to Japan. I've been all over Russia. I've been, almost every country in Western Europe, South America, Brazil. I performed in Mexico, Jamaica,
Wow.
and I'm still counting. And I have a lot of places that, a little bit over 40 countries, or right around 40 countries or so. And I'm still counting on more places and being able to see more places. I've yet to perform in Africa. I have not been to Australia.
Yeah.
And I would love to also get to perform in Southeast Asia. And I almost had the chance on all of those places last year. It's so crazy.
Yeah.
And also during the pandemic year, I had something set up in Australia and also in Kenya. But then the pandemic hit. Then last year, I was in the bid for an offer in Morocco, and also a bid and an offer in Singapore, Southeast Asia, and Australia. But I didn't make it. But I always say when something is presented to you, it's always a blessing to be in the number, even to be considered, and it'll always come back around. Trust me. Because I remember before I started traveling and doing gigs, I was getting these offers, but they weren't kind of, coming into fruition. But they started to do so. And once they started to do so, I just kind of realized the pattern. You're going to be on the radar for a minute, then you're going to start getting these opportunities, and it just keeps going up and up and up. And I'm just grateful that I'm still be able to do this in 2026 and the time that we have and all of this stuff, everything that we're navigating in these times. It's just a blessing to be able to still travel the world and share my talents and, get to see the world.
Yeah, and it's really good that you've been able to like connect multicultural things that you get to see. You get to like that is exciting. When I was looking at the picture, I'm like, oh my God, like this is amazing. Like you really get to, because you can even utilize that like through your music. Like I was like, oh, that just has to be a big blessing to feel that, indulge in those things, and be able to communicate that through what you do through your artistry. So I heard you say one key word that I heard you just mention a moment ago. It kind of reminded me of a humorous moment though. I looked on one of your pages and I saw something about like a song that was on there from a COVID era. And you did it was like background vocals for a Tinder Rona or something. It was so funny. Okay, so what made you agree to do the background vocals for this song? And could you tell a little bit about, cause like you know what I'm talking about, but the artist like, what's she talking about? So could you tell us about that? Cause it was so humorous for me. I am a stickler for laughter is medicine. Tell us about that.
Oh man, I'm always down for laughter. I got the call. I know Bo Peep. He's a buddy of mine. We've got to do some shows. He's hosted some shows that I performed in. I performed with the Hamiltons and also with Calvin Richardson and a few other people's Link. And he hosted some of those shows and recommended me. And so the funny thing is that we hadn't met in person. When that collab took place, we hadn't met yet in person, and so a buddy of mine, Corey Williams, shot to K-Dub, who also does a lot of my videos, and he shot the video for so basically he called me and said, hey man, I need you to do some ad-libs and some background vocals on this track, make it fun, make it humorous, and have a good time with it. I said, you talking to the right person. So I just went in and I just did a bunch of ad-libs, and I said, here is a bunch of stuff you can use, put it wherever you want it in the song, and they took it and it came out how it did. So I don't think I had actually heard the full song or anything before. They just sent me the music and told me just to go crazy. And so
Yeah.
they took the little parts and put everything where they wanted to, and then here's the result, you know. So
See,
when I heard it, I was like, oh yeah, this is great.
I love that because I was like, not only because like you have so much versatility with your voice. So I was listening, I was going through multiple songs. I'm like, okay, you have humor, you're able to do cover on songs, you're playing the organ, to Kalani song. What can you not do? So, and then I was like, what instruments are you playing? So I looked and I saw, okay, like I said, the organ, keyboard, piano. I think I saw a guitar. You're just, what can you not play?
The computer I don't play, but you know, I play the main four. Yeah, I play drums, bass, guitar, and keys, you know, for the most part. And then, you know, I dabble in a couple other things, but, you know, those are the main four that I get to play.
Now, I do recall when I was on, I was looking through some more information. So, like, we were just talking about Valentine's, right? So, I looked and I saw you did, like, those songrams and serenading the girls on the videos. Like, people sending you out to go do a serenade. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is funny. So, how did you start doing that? And do you still do that?
Yeah, so I started it was an idea that I had a few years ago. You know, like I said, Valentine's Day is always a great time because you know, music and romance are like, you know, yin and yang. And so music and love. And so, man, I just wanted to be able to be in that number and offer my services, you know, for people who wanted, you know, to do something for their loved ones. So I started that. I think I started that. The first year I did it was 2013. Mm-hmm. And I would do it every year. And, I was doing maybe like 10 to 15 a day. And depending on what day Valentine's Day fell on, you know, I would be doing them through the week as well. So, you know, and so it'd be 2 or 3 days that people would be blocking off Valentine's Day. Sometimes, you know, depending on where Valentine's Day fell, it'd be 4 days. And so, you know, I did it as much as I could until I started traveling and getting a little bit more busy. And I still do it, but I just don't advertise it as much, you know, but I still do it. It's just, you know, with my schedule nowadays, like this week, I'm out of town and then I got these shows. And so I won't be able to get around too much. I may be able to squeeze a couple in. I did get some calls about people asking me to do it. So I will do maybe a couple, but I don't get to do any more, like do them, you know, like I used to. Hopefully I'll be able to do them again someday. And then another thing too, you know, I do virtual, I do those a lot too. People like those, and that's a little bit easier for me because it doesn't have to be on a specific day. It can be like, I can just do those anytime and then just have them to the person, you know, so, and it's a little bit easier on my schedule. So, you know, but I don't get to do them as much no more, but I still am doing them. So yeah.
Okay, so I was like, that has to, because it looked like it was a fun and exciting time being able to present that to people, and it seemed like you were having a lot of fun through the videos, and you know, and I saw one clip where a lady had gotten surprised. So I'm like, it means a lot for you to be able to engage with your fans, your you know, the audience like that, to give that type of personable experience. So not too many artists are able to do that, to be able to connect with their fans in a way like that. Like it'll connect with them, but in such a positive, personable way. It's really good and give some healing properties to be able to do that too. So I did want to also go over some information about like your leisure, the things you do in leisure. So I saw that you were practicing for I can't quite say the name right, pardon me, reverb. You were practicing your being able to get the sound just right, attuning to it and everything, and you were in the gym. And I'm like, okay, so do you do that often? And I'm like, okay, so you were in the gym. I'm associating maybe you're an athlete. And I'm like, okay, so do you do this when you're practicing? And if so, you know, with you being, are you, well, first, okay, let's put it like this. Are you an athlete? Are you an athlete?
Yeah, most definitely. I'm at the gym now.
Oh my goodness! See, I caught you at the gym. That's too hilarious. Okay.
Yeah, I'm at the gym now. So yeah, I played Football, basketball, and I ran track. I played football in college at the University of North Texas,
Oh,
and
okay.
yeah, and I'm still very active. I still lift weights and run. I do just, I play basketball 2 or 3 times a week, and I swim. I cycle. I when it gets back a little bit warmer, I do a lot of running and sprinting and stuff like that. So I like to do that. That's one way. It's therapeutic for me, but then it's also, to try to stay in the best shape I can with all this good food that I like to eat.
Yes, yes. I've been trying to get back active myself. Like, it used to be on an ongoing basis. I've been work from home since, like what we were mentioning, like with COVID, since COVID. I love working out, and it really does something for you, being active and being able to get those channels of activities and things to do. Now, I did want to, let me check. I did want to also kind of go about like your roots, how you got started on music. So, like I mentioned, I saw you did a song you were playing on the organ. It looked like you were in the setting at a church, and I did see that often. So, from your roots, your upbringing, or within music, did you start out through gospel? What inspired you to like really take this full throttle with your music?
Well, just like most black musicians, we started in church.
Yes.
I was a church drummer as a teenager, a young preteen teenager. I probably started playing when I was about 13, 14 years old, and played all through middle school and through high school as my church's drummer. And in high school, I started playing the organ, and then later on, I started playing the guitars in college and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
yeah, so I was a player first, and my main focus was playing instruments, and but I could also sing too, and I sang as a child, and I sang a little bit as a teenager, not much, but when I got to college, I started to write songs and started to sing and take my singing a lot more serious, and ended up saying, what, I wanna do this for real, And so that's kind of how, it started. And of course the church roots are still there. I still love gospel and old school gospel quartet music. I just think, man, that's really like um, for a lot of the greats, that is the foundation.
Yeah.
D'Angelo, Teddy Pendergrass, Al Green, Marvin Gaye, all of those guys, Ozzy Brothers all started in church. Sam Cooke,
Oh yeah.
and so
Yeah.
those are a lot of my favorite guys, and that's where they started at in church, and that's where I started, and I'm proud of that, and
Yeah.
there it is.
Okay, okay. Well, I definitely love that too, because I was like, I'm definitely hearing, because I'm just listening to your sound. I'm like, I'm hearing some funk, I'm hearing some gospel, I'm hearing some rock. I'm like R&B. Like it was really very well intertwined with your different levels of sounds that different genres of music that you are able to do, and especially having that the root of gospel. That's really good to start out with. Now, so being that we've gone over your that you're very cross versed in being able to play different instruments, and then being able to have that versatility with your voice, I did want to go over like how I noticed, or what I called you. I personally call you. Um, I was looking at a couple of your videos, and I'm like, you can do some falsettos, okay? Let's go ahead and accept your falsetto king title, okay? You got it in the bag for real.
Man, I try. I love
Yes.
falsetto. That's one thing. It's kind of a trick for me that, I'm a baritone. My natural voice is a baritone.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm definitely a baritone. So, with that, but I sing falsetto, so it's kind of
Yeah.
like, a lot of, so I can get away with singing some tenor songs by using my falsetto and head voice,
Yeah.
versus just kind of resting where my natural voice falls, which is a baritone. But yeah, I love falsetto singers, Al Green,
Mhm.
Marvin Gaye, Prince, Eddie Kendricks, Ronald Isley, D'Angelo, Curtis Mayfield. Oh my God,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
yeah, those
Yeah.
are, I love some good falsetto singers. The Delphonics and all of those guys. It's just, man, I love it. So, yeah, that's one thing that I love to do. And so thank you for
You're
that.
welcome. Yeah, I was saying that because see, I love music. Like a lot of my family they're into like gospel. I'm from Mississippi, so we're blues all the way
Oh
through.
man,
Yes, we're
woo,
blues,
y'all
Southern
singing
soul,
over there,
true
yeah,
believers blues. And gospel mixed all into this,
yeah.
so I love it. But to hear somebody sing some falsettos, oh, that's wicked. That's yeah, that is beyond something to hear. So what would you say with your sound? Do you feel like you're more soul, neo soul, funk? What would you say, or do you feel that do you feel like you're more of this than that, or what do you feel?
It just depends on what vibe what I got going on right now. I'm feeling the funk. I've
Yeah,
been deep into my funk. And but don't get me wrong. I think I would say the median of my style is soul.
yeah.
So I can do the neo soul and the R&B. I can do the funk.
Mhm.
I can do a little bit of rock and blues and a little bit of jazz, but the median the middle of what I do is soul, just good old soul. And so, whereas, I can get funky, if when times be, but if we need to do a ballad and get smooth or neo soulish, we can do that too. And so but the median of my style, for example, I just, was Simply Beautiful, that song is kind of like the perfect song because it's got the soul, it's got the that is like the definition of my style right there.
Yeah.
And so
Okay.
it's got a little bit of blues in there, so you got the southern taste, because that's another thing about me. My style is it I listen to a lot of older classic, retro singers,
Yeah.
and my style is kind of, retro, and then to take it a little bit further, I love the southern style of singing, quartet, gospel quartet. I love that stuff, southern soul, southern soul. I love southern soul, so that's kind of what that's what really moves me, and but as far as styles, I love all styles. I mean, you may hear me put a reggae tune out,
Yeah.
you may be getting some more rock, some more soul, anything, I can, and that's what I pride myself. But at the median of whatever genre is going on, at the median, all that, you're still gonna have soul,
So
and that's kind of what I would. That's what I would say the median of my style is. I would just say soul.
okay, so we'll
Black
say
black music.
you just kill it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So soul music.
Hmm.
So that is the median of it for you. So being that we're just mostly getting on to the music right now, I'm gonna mess with you with this one. Okay. So
Go ahead.
this song. Hold on, I had to write it on my sticky for this. BFU.
Yeah.
Explain.
Yeah. That's my song. That's my song.
I
So,
love the song. Okay,
yeah.
what made you write it? Because I can only assume, but I want you to explain what made
Oh
you
no.
write the song.
You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. It wasn't about a specific person, and what I've
Yeah,
always said about that song is that you can use it for any person, place, thing,
yeah.
or situation.
Is,
Anything. You could use it,
is it kind of like you got me effed up? Is that the summary of the song?
Kinda. You know what? Let me just. I'll say it like this, and I'll give the preface on it. So basically, I was riding home from a gig and just wanting to be higher and where I was at the time,
Yeah,
and not wanting to be subject to certain things. And that song just popped in my head, and I instantly wrote it. You
yeah,
know, and so I was like, man, I want to write this. But the funny thing about the song is that I wrote that song at the beginning of 2021, but it took me almost a year to release it out of fear. I was like, man, I don't know about this. I done wrote some crazy stuff and some fun stuff, but I don't know. I don't want this one to be perceived in
Yeah.
a way that I don't, and I don't want this to represent me in a way that did not have my intent,
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay. Then finally, at the end of the year, you say, I said, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna make this a whole vibe. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put this song on the EP, and hopefully that'll kind of dampen the blow, a little bit. So what I did,
Yeah.
I made this. The EP was called the Breakup Elixir. So I made it as like a series and like as a situation to where you go through these series of events to get through a breakup. So the first song was like, I miss you so much. The second song was I almost forgot who I was effing with you. And then the last song was BFU. So it's like the process of,
Oh, it's like progressing
being
to
heartbroken to healing. And the full healing was, if I had another chance to fix what we had, I wouldn't BFU.
Get all of that, just forget it.
Yeah, exactly.
I get it now. I get it.
But to my surprise, the song, I mean, I knew the song would get notoriety, but to my surprise, I had this whole thing planned on. I was going to sell merch for the Breakup Elixir record. I had the cover art, and I brought the cover art to life, and I was going to sell those different things, the merch for that. But BFU took off. The first video I posted, it went viral, and I just had so many millions views off of Instagram, TikTok.
Speaking of viral, I saw that there was a feature. Is it Snoop Dogg?
Yeah. So that was part of it. And the funny thing is, there's a story with that. So basically, I'm pushing. So, to kind of preface the story, I had a connection with Snoop back in 2018. I did a cover of one of his songs and Lil Duval's song, and they shared it. So Jamie Foxx shared it, Little John shared it, rest in peace to his son, I just heard about that. Petey Pablo shared it. A lot of people shared it, and not a lot of notoriety. So that was me and Snoop's first connection. And so I was hoping something would come up with that, but it never did. So I fast forward to 2021, I put out BFU, and then 2022 comes along. I'm still pushing. July of 2022, I had this video go viral on TikTok, and people everybody was tagging Snoop, man, you gotta listen to this. So I woke up one morning and I noticed that Snoop he followed me on Instagram. So I instantly wrote and said, hey Snoop, would love to connect with you, all that. He came back and said, yeah, I've been on you for a while. I've been watching what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. I was like, appreciate it. So I was like, that's crazy. So kept progressing. We kept having conversations back and forward about stuff he had going on, stuff I had going on. And then finally he was like, hey, send me that BFU track. So I sent it to him. A couple of days later, he said, nephew, check your email. I said, man, this is crazy. So, we put together the cartoon for it, and I officially released it in February of 2023. And, we're still in contact now. He helped me choose some of my new singles from my latest EP, and hopefully we'll get to do some work in the future. We talked about possibly, doing some work, some official work, and with some business, and hopefully we'll get to do that. I'm still just trying to stay in contact. He's a busy man, but a hardworking man at that, and I'm just very gracious that he found a little bit of time to recognize what I had going on my side, and man, just somebody of that caliber to be able to recognize that with all that they have going on and take the time out to do that. I'm forever appreciative. So he knows that whatever he needs, I'm there.
That's quite impressive to be able to, like you said, of the caliber, and then just taking the time to give recognition to it, because your sound is impeccable. Like seriously,
thank you.
It's definitely, because when I'm gonna be honest, because I had just gotten onto your music, and it really, I was going through, I was just scrolling through like I normally do, and I was like, whoop, go back. What did I just hear? And then I had to stop. It's like, man, I was working, and I was just lollygagging for a second, and made me stop doing everything I was doing and just had the whole focal on what you were singing, and then I was looking at the attire and everything. I'm like, this is a vibe. This is definitely the vibe. This is what I've been looking for the last couple of years. I finally found it going through Facebook, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to let everybody else hear this. If y'all don't know, you about to know now, okay?
Well, I appreciate that, and that's really the goal, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm just continuing trying to push and get everything out there, and you know, hopefully 2026 will bring, you know, hopefully I can get 1 million nieces.
Yes,
that'd be great.
I'm like,
I'm grateful for every one niece I can get, you know, because it ain't easy to come by. I'm telling you.
Yes.
So I appreciate that, you know, and that's what we're trying to do. Just continue to grind and just, you know, figure out different ways to market the music and keep pushing, doing some touring and shows as much as I can do. So
yeah. Mm-hmm. Now I did want to because I know I didn't want to hold up as much of your time. I know you are a very busy man too. So I did want to ask, I would say something more to your, like how you balance yourself with, you know, being able to having these shows and things. I noticed I saw that you to go on a more of a sentimental aspect of your life, that you do have a son. So how do you you know, get all of that, juggle all that into your music, lifestyle, being able to stay athletic and things like that? Like how do you bring that all into play?
Oh, it's definitely a balancing act, and only thing that I just make sure is that everything gets as healthy, you know, a balance. You know, I have 2 sons. I have an 11-year-old and I have an 11-month-old.
Okay, now that's something in alignment there. 11-11.
11-11. I'm trying to tell you. So there's a lot of balance, and you know, with their activities, you know, my oldest son plays baseball and some other sports, and you know, my youngest son is obviously going to be a toddler here, and so just being able to have their time, you know, also prioritizing myself to make sure that I'm not pouring from an empty cup, you know, and making sure that I'm able to, you know, nourish myself and also stay healthy by working out, and also have leisure for myself and being able to do some of the things that I want to do to keep me balanced. And then I offer the balance to my sons and my music, and make sure that, you know, I'm you know, diligent on whatever I have to do, whatever deadlines that I have, whatever emails that I have to do, and just making sure that I have a healthy balance, because I'm telling you, sometimes it can get kind of out of whack, you know. But there are sacrifices, you know. I go on tour, so my sons will have to not see me for, you know, a month or two, you know, and you know, that's a part of it. But you know, when I'm here, I make the most of it, and I make sure that they get to see me. I'm active, and then also making sure I'm just taking care of myself individually, to where I'm able to still pour from a cup that's full as possible, you know.
So that's good. You do, you know, take that time to bring about that balance for yourself. Still being able to connect with basically your newborn, 11-month-old, and then 11-year-old. So that's good that you still get to intertwine, ensure that's on top level for fatherhood, and then making sure it's a healthy balance with everything else. You know, to be able to have smooth sailing with what you're doing. So I'll just ask you about 2 more things, and I don't want to keep you too much longer, but I did want to go over, I know you had mentioned something about email, like you were saying, you having to get to emails and things, that stood out to me. So I noticed that you have a great, like I mentioned earlier, great fan connection. You do the sonograms, and then I saw you had like I think it was some form of, well, basically you connect with your audience, your fans. You have like a fan-based email, is that or a newsletter, is that what it's called? So
yep, I have oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, you were fine. what so how do you go about doing that? Do you give them like lives each week, or how do you go about continuing to connect with them through, is it through continuation of emails and newsletters?
Yeah, so I have a newsletter that I have, and I also have a broadcast channel on Facebook and Instagram. So what I like to do with those is kind of give people a little bit of sneak peek behind the scenes type thing that help me choose out certain things. Like sometimes when I'm backstage, I'm like, hey, I'm about to go on stage. What do y'all think I should wear? Or, different things, just kind of giving them a little bit more up close, intimate, um, experience on what's going on with me, and sometimes exclusive drops or discounts, and then also just making sure that they have first dibs on whatever I got going on, that most importantly that they get it before social media or anybody else gets it.
Yeah,
And so
so
that's
I did. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I
no,
did
you're fine.
see. I did see that like you had merch too. So I was just scrolling through the different things. I saw like what is it, chocolate something other on there.
Yeah,
That so I
your
saw
shirt is on the
that.
way. Your shirt is on the way.
Thank you, thank you. I was like, I was wearing
Yeah,
my shirt, sir.
yeah,
But no, I'm just playing
yeah.
with you. But no, I was just going to say that I think that's pretty awesome that you're able to connect with your fans that way. Like I said earlier, that's valuable to to be able to do that with your fan, have that level of fan base, and then they how much of a commitment that they have with you, especially over the years, through your transitions with your music, maintaining and everything. I was able to look and see that on like you really do have a great, positive, humorous at times connection with your fans. So lastly, I wanted to ask, I had noticed, so I wanted to ask, are you an indie artist? Are you independent, or are you signed? I didn't get to look at that part.
I'm independent, 100%.
Yeah. Then
Yeah,
did you
I'm
want to stay
independent.
independent? Is that something like more to what you wanted to do, or would you even be wanting to sign with anyone at some particular time if it were all if it were presented, or has it already
Well,
been presented and you declined?
I would say the ultimate goal is to get the music as far as it can go, and obviously with labels they have avenues and they have budgets
Uh,
that can get things to go further. But on the other end of things, if I can do that independently, that would be the perfect situation, to where I wouldn't need a label. But I'm definitely not opposed to signing with a label, and whatever it takes to get the music out there, as long as I'm, not signing my life away, for lack of better words. And so just
yeah.
whatever it takes to get the music as far as it can go. Um, and as long as it doesn't, change anything about me, which this day and age is a little bit different. Back in the day when they signed you, you wouldn't have so much creative freedom, but now, with the way social media has gone, and
Mhm.
they're giving artists a lot more creative freedom even when they get signed. So that's a beautiful thing. And so I'm not as worried about that anymore. But um, yeah, that's really the goal, just to get the music as far as it goes. So if I can do it independently, great. But if I can do it with a label, great too.
So it's kind of like if it works type of thing, but you're not like
Right.
it's not as much of a worry.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
I would love to, just get the music as far as it can go, um, in the best way possible, not in a way to where, like I said, I'm signing my life away, and
Yeah.
I want to set myself up for the future as well, to where I ain't gotta, you know, be grinding and grinding and grinding when I'm 80. I'm letting
Yeah.
my resume make me money, and that's the ultimate goal.
And you have quite the track record. I was
Thank
looking.
you,
You have quite the track record, and that's really good and good catalog. So
thank you.
you're welcome. Now in closing, I did want to I did kind of like I give my audience something to what they can reflect on. and then what you yourself would like to say to them, and give us some things about where we can find your music and so forth. So looking back on your journey, what do you feel, or what version of yourself are you most proud of throughout all of this?
Well, I would just say, the dreamer in me as a youngster, and almost from in a delusional manner,
Yeah.
has allowed me to be able to reach heights and not have any feelings. And so what I would just say to any younger artist, nothing's too big to chase. And if you're dreaming big, dream even bigger. Dream even bigger. That's what you can do, because you never know, man. I mean, some of the things I've done and I've dreamed, I sometimes feel like, how the hell did I get in here? It's kind of like, man, it's kind of, I guess, what you call imposter syndrome. Like,
Yeah.
am I supposed to be here? But don't get me wrong. But that's just the most, that's the most beautiful thing about it, because you were, for lack of better words, delusional enough to believe that could happen. Now you're there,
Yeah.
So I was delusional enough to believe, I'll get a collab with Snoop. Now I'm there. I was delusional enough to believe, I'll be playing drums in a stadium with thousands of people, just like Bruno Mars. And then last year I did it, and so that's what I'm saying. So, manifest things, dream big as you can and chase that. And I just say, never give up, another tidbit I meant to add a little bit earlier about the Snoop thing. I released BFU December of 2021. Snoop didn't come around until July of 2022. So we're talking about 6, 7, 8 months later after the song.
Yeah.
And I'm still pushing and turning. So had I gave up after a month, had I gave up after 2, 3 months and said, man, this ain't going, then I never would have got that collab with Snoop. But I kept pushing and pushing day after day, figuring out what can I do creatively to continue to push this song, and that's what I did. And so that's something that, never give up on yourself. I have a shirt on my website that says bet on yourself. And that's something that I believe in, bet on yourself, go all the way in on your dreams, do what you got to do. Don't be afraid to take those steps, and sometimes the only thing that I'd say, take them even soon, take them now, take them, don't be afraid. A lot of people have this, I have to have this and that and this and that for this to happen. It's like, no, you don't. Take what you have now and use it to the best of your ability and get where you want to go.
I love when you said that. Yeah. I try to encourage people around me that same thing. I'm probably not exactly where I want to be at right now, but the thing is that for me as a dreamer, I nickname myself Beautiful Dreamer, and I say that because I feel like my dreams are beautiful because I try to hold on to those. And the one thing that I always try to do is kind of like what you were saying, the delusional thing. I aim high no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
I try to aim high. I try to stay humble, but I still try to aim high, because if you never do that, you'll never know where you can be. And
that's right.
It takes that type of mindset, that type of growth mindset to get you to where you need to go. So I want to thank you so much, Quentin, for taking the time. I called you. You still got gym clothes on. Out there,
yeah.
Sweating, and I done let you get cold in your gym clothes. I'm so sorry.
Nah, it's all good. I might run back in here and do a little something else. I finished lifting. I might go back in here and walk on the treadmill a little bit, But yeah, but no, I appreciate. I'm definitely appreciative of you and your words and having me here. So that the pleasure and the honor is all mine.
All right. Well,
like I said, you'll be getting your t-shirt soon.
Please and thank you.
Oh, you got it. It's in the mail already, so on the way.
All right. Well, thank you so much. You have a blessed night. I'll be seeing you around, and we're gonna try our greatest to come see you this weekend. Or we go send a little somebody go be there that's coordinating with us. But we go get away. Okay.
Sounds
we
good.
make away.
Good.
All right. Well, thank you
Sounds
so
good.
much.
I'm looking forward. All right, you too. Thank you. You have a good one.
Thank you. Be well.
All right, you too.